To begin building our collage, we will open the Adobe Photoshop application and select Create New. First, we'll title our document. And as far as the document size, we want this to be at least 11 by 17 inches or 17 by 11 inches, depending on the orientation. Here, I'll set mine to 24 by 18, and we would like our pixels per inch to be set to at least 300 to ensure a high quality export. And if you are using a white background for your collage, if you won't be uploading an image, you may select black or white from the drop-down menu for background contents. Since I will be uploading an image, I'll keep it transparent. If everything looks good here, I'll select Create. Now I'll begin adding textures to my image. The two areas that I've decided to focus on are the water and the walkway here, as well as the riverbank itself, to kind of highlight those as the key areas of focus. Depending on what you're trying to show in your collage, you can choose where and how to show those textures. So I will go ahead and make sure I add a new layer first, and then File and Place Embedded. I'll start off using my concrete for the pathway. This one. Now the image is placed, I will go to Edit, Transform, and Distort. This will allow me to kind of push and pull the image into different areas to fit within that space that I'm hoping to fill. So I'll pull it together here. If you do pull too far, the image might run over itself and you'll sort of, the image will turn white, for example, here if you pull over. You might lose it when it's turned over, so just making sure that you don't overlap these edges. And I'll pull it all the way here, adjusting on both sides. Oops. Okay, and you can press the Enter key to set that in place. This image is still super opaque. I would like to make it a little bit more transparent and also adjust the saturation to sort of blend better with the rest of my images. This can be done now or later. So I'll go over to the side, make sure that my layer is selected, and in the drop-down menu for opacity, you can adjust this by scrolling up and down. It'll show the adjustments as you make them here. And I'll also make sure that layer is still selected and go to Image, Adjustments, and Hue Saturation. I'll make this one a little bit lighter and reduce a little bit of that saturation to gray it out slightly more. Select OK. And again, just adjust this slightly. I'd like this to simply be a textural layer and not have too much of an impact on the overall image. Can close this drop down to make it a little bit easier. Once we have all the layers in here, it's a little bit overwhelming to have these drop downs open, so you can close those to not see the layer effects in every layer. Then I'll go ahead and lock this. Be sure to lock after every new layer that you add. It'll make it a little bit easier. You won't be moving things around accidentally. So now I'll move forward and add all of my water textures, the riverbank, and sort of get those all in place before adding the additional layers of people and objects. Now that I have all of my layers in place and I've adjusted those hues, the saturation, and the opacity of each layer to show more depth, I will now be adding my trees. These trees I'll just be copying and pasting from my Illustrator file, which contains all of the entourage trees and plants. And so I'll kind of copy and paste here. As you might notice, this one showed up in a new layer, so we will be sure to organize these layers throughout. I have started organizing these by the type of object that I'm focusing on. For here, I'll add another group and I'll name this one trees. And just make sure to place all of these trees into that file. And then we can also unlock these as needed to be sure we're not moving any of those elements. Okay, and once my tree is in here, I'll be sure to resize it. If you are copying and pasting, you might receive a notification that says what type of file would you like to place. In that case, always select pixels. It makes it a little bit easier to scale and distort the image. If you do place it as a shape layer, it will only allow you to rescale, but not to distort or transform in any other way. So now that I have this in here, I'll go to Image, Adjustments. Oops, sorry. First, we'll go back, Edit, Transform, and Distort. So I'll move this one over to the side. This will be a tree in my foreground, so I won't need to adjust too much of the sizing here. I do want it to be a little bit larger to sort of match with the lighting posts that I've drawn in, making sure that everything is to scale. Once we add people, it will help a little bit more to envision this, but for right now, I like to keep this tree a little bit larger and also resizing here, distorting to again fit within this scene. Okay, and I can also choose to use the same tree again. Be careful using the same tree too many times. A little trick that I like to use is going to edit, transform, and flip horizontal. It just shows a different angle of the tree, which you can use back and forth just to show a little bit more variety. And I'll again edit the scale of this one. It'll be more in the background. Size it down. And I will be moving it backwards. Again, paying close attention to those light posts and also the perspective of the drawing. To edit, distort, and just adjust this tree where it looks a little bit more like it's on the edge of a pathway. And hit enter to finish. Since this image is a little bit farther back, I will be adjusting the opacity lower so it's a little bit more faint in the background to show that depth. And as we begin to layer in all these trees, it will become a lot more dense. So paying attention to foreground versus background elements. So I'll continue adding all of my trees and then we'll get started adding people and other objects. Now that I have all of my trees added in on both sides of the river, I'll begin adding people. So I have started by creating that file folder titled people, and I'll add a new layer within that folder. And so simply again, copy and paste into the image, paste. Here is that notification. So as I said before, you would not like to select any of these but pixels. Any of these other objects will not allow you to distort that image and transform it in any way that will be extremely helpful in this perspective. So selecting pixels, I'll hit OK. And here I have my parent and child duo. So I will move this image over. I'd like to place it in the far corner of this sort of overlook I've made. So I'll first flip this image by selecting Edit, Transform, and Flip Horizontal. And now I'll place them into this bottom corner. It's okay right now that they're on top of this overlook drawing. I'll again rescale this since they are closer to the foreground. Hit Enter. And now that I have them placed in this corner, A trick that I like to use to sort of clear away the bottom half of them to show that they're standing on top of that overlook, not in front of it, is to use the eraser tool. And you may choose to use it as a brush, pencil, or block. I found that brush is a little bit easiest, so at the most area covered, you can change the size of the brush, hardiness if you like soft or hard edges. And if you choose the block, it'll create more of a straight line across. Here, that might be helpful for me since they're standing just within this area. And I'll sort of start going over and aligning to make sure they are exactly behind this overlook area. Remember that because my background layer is locked and because it is my first layer over to the right here, that no matter what I erase, it will not change and it will be in the background of everything that's added. Just clean this up a little bit. Okay, and now that we have those people added, we can keep adding more. And this is a great point to think about how you would like people to interact with this space. I envision this as sort of a walking and biking trail for families, but also commuters and just more recreational activity. So I'll place in a woman walking with her bike, or I'll also place in people kayaking. So from my file that I used previously, I'll add those in and also paying attention to the opacity and depth. So showing people that are farther away, more in the backgrounds will be slightly lighter, and those in the foreground will be much darker. Another great thing to note is titling these layers. Here, I'll just title this one pointing. Going back, I will know exactly what I meant by that, knowing that that is the person that's pointing off into the distance. So if you were going to go back and edit them, it simply wouldn't be a layer 20, 21, 22. It'll be a little bit easier to decipher between all of them. And being sure once you are finished with the people layer to lock that as well. And once everything looks good, we can go ahead and export our collage. We'll go to File, Export, and Export As. An easy option is quick export as PNG if you know that's the file format that you're hoping to use. I like to go into Export As and really decide what levels of compression and also what type of image I'd like to produce. I'll leave this here as a JPEG with 100% quality. The image size here looks okay, as well as the canvas size. So I'll go ahead and select export, making sure that image name is correct and saving to our desired file location. Great, so here is my final collage. This is a very simple attempt to sort of emphasize the greenery that I'm hoping to add to this space and make it a more active community space. You can also add buildings in the background. You can choose to add clouds, more elements such as street vendors, bike lanes, more street furniture. So that would be here trash cans, benches, movable chairs, and tables. All of those elements come together to really create a more dynamic urban design scene. If there is anything else that would like to be added, you can just simply keep adding layers at this point, but this is where I'll go ahead and stop for now. If there is anything else that would like to be added, you can just simply keep adding layers at this point, but this is where I'll go ahead and stop for now.